Hey guys and welcome to my complete and comprehensive guide on Makima. She is one of the first collab characters in NIKKE, and today I will be showing you everything you need to know about this powerful and mysterious member of the public safety Devil Hunters. We will be covering her skills, optimal role, equipment recommendations, talk about her teams, pull value, as well as a gameplay showcase. And if there's anything else I want to add, I will be sure to put it in the description below. But before we begin, definitely make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I also want to give a quick shout out to Bluestacks for supporting the channel, so feel free to check out the link in the description below if you want to try out the best emulator for playing mobile games on PC. But with that being said, let me not waste any more of your time and let's jump right in. Makima's combat design is centered around increasing her durability while taking damage for her team. She is able to taunt her enemies and she has a lot of tools available to help her become more effective as a tank. She is classified as a burst type 2 defender that uses an SMG, and it's also important to know that she has the abnormal manufacturer tag, which means that you will have to level up the new abnormal research in the recycling room if you want more stats on her or any other collab characters that you may have. Now heading over to Wikipedia. Makima has a little over 700,000 HP and 17,059 attack, both of which are standard HP and attack values for all of the SSR defenders. She also has 4,364 defense, which is actually the second lowest defense value out of all the defenders in NIKKE. And you can definitely feel that it's low whenever Makima is in a team with no healer. As for Makima's abilities, it can be broken down to the following. Her skill 1 gives her team more defense and faster reloading speed, but how often this activates highly depends on the stage. Makima needs to be hit 20 times for the skill to trigger, so the more enemies you have, the more likely it is for her to trigger this effect. Her skill 2 comes with two different effects. The first one will taunt all of the enemies on the field after Makima lands 120 bullets, or basically a whole clip assuming that you're not using a bastion or a wingman cube. The second effect activates whenever Makima receives a killing blow. This will grant her invincibility for 7 seconds on top of reducing her burst cooldown by 11.58 seconds. This is a really good safety net for Makima because she will most likely take a lot of damage, but do keep in mind that this only triggers once per battle. Makima's burst, on the other hand, will give her a pierce effect, and she will also recover 34.02% of her attack as HP for 10 seconds. But if Makima uses her burst when the invincibility effect is active, she will get an additional 41.02% bonus healing, which will also last for 10 seconds. Now let's take a closer look. Her skill 1 can easily be activated in a more predictable environment, and the best example for this is in PvP. The enemy always attacks the character in the position 1 of your team, so you can place Makima in the first position so that she will immediately activate the reload speed and defense buff from her skill 1. And if you have characters like Jackal, it's possible to set up a team where Makima will be affected by Jackal's damage sharing, so that in your first position, you can place another character that is also affected by the damage sharing other than Makima. This might be a bit more difficult to pull off because you need Makima to be one of your 2 characters with the highest attack. So it will most likely depend on your character's limit breaks, core ops, equipment level, and even research level. But if you manage to make this work, she will be able to start off the round in a safer spot and still be able to trigger her skill 1, be it more often if not 100% of the time. On paper, the second effect from her skill 2 is really good. She gains invincibility when she takes a lethal blow, but a big downside is that it's hard to get her HP back up within that 7-second time frame. Even with Rapunzel in my team, it was still hard to keep Makima alive after she went down to 0 HP because the smallest mistake just ended up taking her out. The only way I was able to consistently get her HP to a reasonable amount is by using her in a team with Rapunzel and Helm, which is too much to ask because an optimal team should only need one healer or no healer at all. For Makima's skill upgrade priority, you would want to prioritize her burst because she needs all the healing from her normal attacks during that. Then you would want to go for her skill 1 because a lot of characters will appreciate the increased reload speed buff, including Makima herself. And then you can save her second skill for last, maybe even leaving it at level 4, just because the skill upgrades don't increase the invincibility duration and the additional burst cooldown reduction is minimal. As for Makima's best harmony cube, you don't really need to use one on her. But if you have an extra slot, Resilience is your best choice for the increased reload speed buff. As we have talked about in this video, Makima's role is a tank, and her job is to take damage for your team. But generally speaking, it's better to use shielders like Senti or Polly because you would rather not take any damage at all by using shields. With that said, you can still find success in using Makima, but there are just a few things that you need to keep in mind. For one, Makima is not a character that you can use to clear stages with if you are at a high power level deficit. Technically you can, but you need to be using the best of the best characters with her so that they can carry Makima on the stage. In Genshin terms, it's basically like putting a bad character in the national team and calling them good. Overall, I would say that Makima is okay. For PvE, she can be a good enough tank if you really need one for certain stages, but she's not a character that I would recommend you use over the other defender units that we have. They had the right idea for her kit, but it just feels like a bit undertuned. And because her healing skill is a bit low, you either have to hyper invest in her, or you have to use her in a team with 2 healers. But in return, that will most likely take a hit on your team's damage output. When it comes to PvP, I always say that it's not worth pulling for characters just for that reason, especially if you are free to play. Makima can definitely do well in PvP, and I think that she is better in PvP than she is in PvE. But you should think of it as more of a bonus instead of her main selling point. So yeah, that's about everything I have for Makima. I tried to cover all of her pros and cons to help you make a better decision when pulling for her, and to help you maximize her utility when using her in your teams. For the next part, I will be doing a showcase, and at the same time, I will also try to put up some useful stats during my testing, just in case you're interested in seeing that. With that being said, hopefully you found this video useful. Also, don't forget to check out Bluestacks, link in the description below, and as always, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yes.